Hello and welcome to Ted Doesn't Have Time for This, a show where I review things quickly and compare them with everything else in existence. So I thought Mowgli the Iceberg was releasing a new album. Turns out it was the whole Indie Tribe was releasing a new album, and it is wonderful. Who Do You Say I Am by Indie Tribe is the 173rd best album of all time, and now I'm going to tell you why. So Indie Tribe, as you may or may not be aware, is made up of DJ Michael V, No Big Deal, Mowgli the Iceberg, Troy Deshawn, John Keith, and if I'm missing someone, I'm sorry. But I love Indie Tribe. They're great. They are probably my... I'm conflicted. I was going to say they're my favorite current active hip-hop artist, but I really like Sho Baraka a lot. It's one of the two, depending on my mood. But Indie Tribe puts out so much more music than Sho Baraka. They kind of tend to rise to the top, even though my favorite rap album of all time is Sho Baraka's The Narrative. Oops, spoilers. And I have to say, Indie Tribe comes out swinging and they don't let up. Like, I'll admit, I tend to avoid listening to their singles because I prefer listening to a whole album. So I tend to ignore singles as much as possible until an album comes out, and then I listen to all of them. And after listening to this album a half dozen times, this is by far their second best album. It's just such a solid album from top to bottom. What Do You See is just a self-reflective kick of the door as they break out and just go at it. Are You Stupid is just, it feels so 90s in all the right ways. I love it. And it made me think of what is the difference between being stupid and dumb. And I think dumb is an inherent lack of intelligence, whereas stupid is poor judgment, regardless of what one's intelligence level may be. Like, a very intelligent person can still, go buy a lottery ticket, even though they know that there's zero chance of them winning. Because lottery is just taxes for people who are bad at math. But yeah, I'd say that, is that my favorite track? Oh, there's so many good tracks on this album. Oops, sorry, I just started accidentally playing it. What else is really good? Stay was solid, talking about how, God's gonna stay the same when we need him. Welcome to the Tribe. I remember when that one came out earlier, and just the energy of these guys. They sound like they're having the most fun anyone has ever had with a bunch of friends, just hanging out, cranking out music, and these guys just are having a blast. I would love to go to the Holy Smokes Festival because, I've seen No Big Deal in concert a couple times. He did an amazing job, and I'd love to see the rest of them. Let's see, is there any other really standout ones? I'd say those are my top tracks on the album, but there's not a bad song on this album. And listening to it, I actually bumped up my ratings on a few of these songs from where they were on the initial listen through, which isn't something I typically do a lot of times. Because the more I listen to this album, the more depth I feel, and the more I just really feel a close relationship to what these guys are talking about. Talking about how they're not afraid to talk about life and the mistakes people make. There's one song where they talk about someone who's gets pregnant, and then her boyfriend just tells her, "Oh, go get some other guy drunk and then put him on the hook to pay for the baby." And that's not something you typically see in the Christian hip hop scene. But if you're talking about life and the realities we live in, you have to talk about these things. Another track, one of them talks about how he hooked up with this girl, and every time they were together, something bad would happen, and eventually, they were, let's just say, getting to know each other a little too well, and then a bunch of guys busted in and robbed him, and talked about how embarrassed he felt and how he let lust control him to the point he ignored the warnings that God was trying to give him. And there's just so many layers to these songs that make me just stop and think about my own life and where I'm going and who I am and how can I be a better person, and at the same time have fun along the way. Because if I were to summarize Indie Tribe in 3 words, I would say repentant, energetic, and fun. No, I'd say repentant, Christ, and fun. Yep, let's go with those 3. Those are my 3. Because Indie Tribe knows where it's at. These guys, they're killing it. I hope you give this a listen because they deserve your time and attention. I can't think of anyone else in the rap scene who's putting out anything nearly this good. So, have a great day. Talk to you later.